Welcome to the Pluto Lounge, where we just chill. Damn it! Why me? I can't get caught. Not like this! I've got to find someone to pin this on. Someone like him. I'll make it look like he did it. Dun 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 dun. August 3rd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Boy, am I nervous. Right! Oh, hiya, Chief. Woo! I'm glad I made it on time. Well, I have to say, Phoenix, I'm impressed. Not everyone takes on a murder trial right off the bat like this. It says a lot about you and your client as well. Thanks. Actually, it's because I owe him a favor. A favor? You mean to tell me you knew the defendant before this case? Yes. Actually, I kind of owe my current job to him. He's one of the reasons I became an attorney in the first place. Well, that's news to me. I want to help him out any way I can. I really want to help him. I owe him that much. It's over. My life, everything, it's all over. Is that your client screaming over there? Yeah, it's him. Death, despair, oh! I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna die. It sounds like he wants to die. Yeah. Nick! Hey there, Larry. Dude, I'm so guilty. Tell them I'm guilty. Give me the death sentence. I ain't afraid to die. What? What's wrong, Larry? Oh, it's all over. I'm finished. I can't live in a world without her. I just can't. Who took her away from me, Nick? Who did this? Oh, Nick, you gotta tell me. Who took my baby away? The person responsible for your girlfriend's death? Well, the newspaper says it was you. My name is Phoenix Wright. Here's the story. My first case is a fairly simple one. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her. Larry Butts, my best friend since grade school. Our school had a saying, when something smells, it's usually the butts. And in 23 years I've known him, it's usually been true. He has a knack for getting himself into trouble. One thing I can say though, it's usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck. But I know better than anyone that he's a good guy at heart. That and I owe him one, which is why I took the case to clear his name. And that's just what I'm going to do. August 3rd, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Butts. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ahem. Mr. Wright, this is your first trial, is it not? Yes, Your Honor. I'm a little nervous. Your conduct during this trial will decide the fate of your client. Murder is a serious charge. For your client's sake, I hope you can control your nerves. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, given the circumstances, I think we should have a test to ascertain your readiness. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, my hands are shaking. My eyesight is getting blurry. The test will consist of a few simple questions. Answer them clearly and concisely. Please state the name of the defendant in this case. This is easy. Larry Butts. The defendant? Well, that's Larry Butts, Your Honor. Correct. Just keep your wits about you and you'll do fine. Next question. This is a murder trial. Tell me, what's the victim's name? I know this one. I mean, I read the report cover to cover so many times. It's, wait, oh. No way. I forgot. I'm drawing a total blank here. Phoenix, are you absolutely sure you're up to this? You don't even know the victim's name? Oh, the victim. Of course I know the victim's name. I was just playing with y'all. I just forgot temporarily. I think I feel a migraine coming on. Look, the victim's name isn't listed in the court record. Just press tab to check it at any time, okay? Remember to check it often. Do it for me, please. I'm begging you. Mr. Wright, who's the victim in this case? Court record, attorney's badge. No one would believe I was a defense attorney if I didn't carry this. Cindy's autopsy report. Time of death, 7:31, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the 31st of July. Cause of death, excuse me. Loss of blood due to the blunt trauma. So she was hit, probably in the head, and lost a lot of blood, died, cracked her skull. Okay, 4 to 5 p.m. Got it. Cindy Stone is her name. The victim's name is Cindy Stone. Correct. Now, tell me what the cause of death. She died because she was hit with a blunt object, right? So she was struck once by a blunt object. Correct. You've answered all my questions. I see no reason why we shouldn't proceed. You seem much more relaxed, Mr. Wright. Good for you. Thank you, Your Honor. Because I don't feel relaxed, that's for sure. Well then. First, a question for the prosecution, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. As Mr. Wright just told us, the victim was struck with a blunt object. Would you explain to the court just what that object was? The murder weapon was a statue of the thinker. It was found lying on the floor next to the victim. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. A statue in the shape of a thinker. It's rather heavy. Right! Be sure to pay attention to any evidence added during the trial. That evidence is the only ammunition you have in court. Use tab to check the court record frequently. Okay, it just showed us that. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its first witness. The prosecution calls the defendant, Mr. Butts, to the stand. Wait, I thought you're not allowed to... you can't put the defendant on the stand like that. And okay, anyway, I forget Japanese game. Okay, I'm Chief. What do I do now? Pay attention. You don't want to miss any information that might help your client's case. You'll get your chance to respond to the prosecution later, so be ready. Let's just hope he doesn't say anything unfortunate. Yeah, Larry gets excited kind of easily. This is gonna be bad. Ahem. Mr. Betts, it is not true that the victim had recently dumped you. Hey, watch it, buddy. We were great together. We were Romeo and Juliet, Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Didn't they all die? I wasn't dumped. She just wasn't taking my phone calls or seeing me ever. What's it to you anyway? Mr. Butts, what you describe is generally what we mean by dumped. In fact, she had completely abandoned you and was seeing other men. She had just returned from overseas with one of them the day before the murder. What do you mean, one of them? Lies! All of it lies! I don't believe a word of it. Your Honor, the victim's passport. According to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. The victim apparently arrived home from Paris on the 30th of July, which is the day before she got murdered. The day before the murder. There you go. Indeed. She appears to have returned to the day before the murder. Dude, no way! The victim was a model but did not have a large income. It appears that she had several sugar daddies. Daddies? Sugar? Yes, older men who gave her money and gifts. She took their money and used it to support her lifestyle. Dude! We can clearly see what kind of woman this Mrs. Stone was. Tell me, Mr. Butts, what do you think of her now? Right? I don't think you want him to answer that question. Yeah, Larry has a way of running his mouth in all the wrong directions. Should I? Yeah, we gotta stop him from answering. He's obviously getting put on the spot here, so he's gonna talk through emotion opposed to any type of intelligence. So we don't want him answering this question whatsoever. My client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. That question is relevant to this case. Dude, Nick, what do you mean? Irrelevant? That cheating sheepdog. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna drop dead. Yeah, and when I meet her in the afterlife, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Let's continue with the trial, shall we? I believe the accused's motive is clear to everyone. Yes, quite. Oh boy, this is not looking good. Next question. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? Well, did you or did you not? Hey, well, maybe I did and maybe I didn't. Oh, he went. What do I do? If he deflects this question, that's gonna be like, that's gonna be more of a radar, like a red flag. So at this point, like this is a good question for him to prove his innocence. Actually, he just needs to be honest. So let's have him just answer honestly. I know. I'll send him a signal. Tell the truth. Yeah, I was there. I went. Order. Well, Mr. Butts? Dude, chill. She wasn't home, man. So, like, I didn't see her. Your Honor, the defendant is lying. Lying? The prosecution would like to call a witness who can prove Mr. Butts is lying. Well, that simplifies matters. Who is your witness? The man who found the victim's body just before making the gruesome discovery. He saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness. Yes, Your Honor. This is bad. This is really bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. Please bring Mr. Frank Sawit to the stand. Mr. Sawit, you sell newspaper subscriptions, is this correct? Oh yes, newspapers, yes. Mr. Sawit, you may proceed with your testimony. Please tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Witness testimony. I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man filling in apartments. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. I qualified in frights and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. The man who ran was without a doubt the defendant sitting right over there. Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? I can't defend you against a testimony like that. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. Aren't phones supposed to work during a blackout? Yes, Your Honor. However, some cordless phones do not function normally. The phone that Mr. Sawad used was one of those. Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal. Electricity to Miss Stone's building was out from noon to 6 p.m. on the day of the crime. From noon to 6 p.m. on the day of the crime. Now, Mr. Wright. Yes! Yes, Your Honor. You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination, Your Honor? All right, Wright. This is the real deal. What exactly am I supposed to do? Why, you exposed the lies in the testimony the witness just gave. Lies? What? He was lying. Your client is innocent, right? Then that witness must have lied in his testimony. Or is it your client really guilty? How do I prove he's not? You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness's testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find contradictions between the court record and the witness's testimony. Then, once you found the contradicting evidence, present it and rub it in the witness's face. Okay. Open a courtroom record with tab and point out contradictions in the testimony. I mean, there's already a bunch of contradictions, right? All right, so for one, he said the murder happened at 1, but we know the death took place between 4 to 5 p.m., so the time is already wrong. He was going door to door selling subscriptions. He saw a man fleeing an apartment. He thought it must be in a hurry. He left the door half open behind him. So dude was walking, the door was half open, and then that's how he saw the dead body. He looked inside the apartment because that's strange. Then he sees the woman lying there, not moving, and she's dead. He quelled in fright and found himself unable to go inside. But if he was unable to go inside, then how did he check her phone? I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. So that he already lied just in there. There's a contradiction because he said he never set foot in the apartment, but yet he was able to go inside to check and try her phone. So he goes to a public phone and it says it was 1 p.m., which we know it happened between 4 to 5 p.m. And he says the man was the defendant sitting over here. That's all of it. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere. Examine the court record with tab if something strikes you as being suspicious. Whoops. Then find the evidence that contradicts his testimony and present it to the court. Okay, Oh, so that's what I have to do. Okay. I did it on accident. I was trying to figure out what, present. So we have to just go through a statement and find the contradictions. Okay, so there's no way for me to call this one out. right, here we go. We'll present this. You found the body at 1 p.m. Are you sure? Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at sometime after 4 p.m. There was no body to find at 1 p.m. How do you explain this 3-hour gap? Oh, that! This is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time. After his testimony, I find that hard to believe. Mr. Solid, why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.? Gee, that's really a good question. Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do. Point out contradictions. Lies always beget more lies. See through one, and their whole story falls apart. Wait! I remember now! Would you care to give your testimony again? Testimony. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a taped program. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. I see. You heard a voice saying the time on a taped program. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Right! You know what to do. I've got this one. There was a power outage between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m., which means there could be nothing on a TV telling the time. Now we will present Hold it right there. The prosecution has said there was a blackout at the time of the discovery, and this record proves it. You couldn't have heard a television or a video. The defense has a point. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Solid? No, I find it quite puzzling myself, quite. Wait, I remember now. Mr. Solid, the court would prefer to hear an accurate testimony from the beginning. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. That and you seem rather distraught. My apologies, Your Honor. It must have been a shock of finding the body. Very well, Mr. Solid. Let's hear your testimony once more, please. Actually, I didn't hear the time, I saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw. You saw a clock. I guess that would explain it. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Gladly. Let's see, there's a clock. You would have to go into the apartment, which means you're still contradicting yourself there. A table clock. It would have to be a battery operated. No. There wasn't a table clock, there was only the statue. Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't the clock. It was this statue. Now, how is this supposed to be a clock? What? You, with your objections and your evidence, just what do you think you are? Just answer the question, Mr. Sawit. Hey, I saw it there, okay? That's a clock. Your Honor, if I may. Yes, Mr. Payne. As the witness stated, this statue is indeed a clock. The neck is a switch. You just tilt it and it says a time out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submitted it as a statue. My apologies. I see. So, the murder weapon was a table clock after all. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears that the witness's testimony was correct. This is a clock. Do you have any problems with this testimony now? Yes, I do. Your Honor, there's a gaping hole in this witness's testimony. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. Yet, the witness testified that he never entered the apartment. Clearly, a contradiction. Indeed. The witness knew it was a clock because he went into the apartment. You're lying. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Oh yeah? Prove it. Prove I went in there. I'll do better than that. I can prove you were the one that killed her. You struck her with the clock and the shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. That was the sound you heard. Order in the court. Intriguing. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Sawit, the sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke just as you hit the victim. That voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time. Wait, what's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture! Baseless? Just look at the witness's face! Would the witness care to elaborate? Did you strike the victim with a clock? That day, I never. Look, the clock. I heard no. I saw no. Ah! Shut up! I hate you! It was him, I tell you. I saw him. He killed her and he should burn! Burn! Give him death! Order! Order in the court, I say. Your Honor, a moment, please. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defense's claims. Mr. Wright. Your Honor, you claim the sound the witness heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? Alright, whole case is riding on this. I better think it through carefully. Your Honor, the sound Mr. Sawit heard was definitely this clock. A fact which is clear if you simply gotta just try sounding the clock. That proves the whole theory. Let's sound the clock now, here in this court. Your Honor, may I have that clock? I mean, I'm not sure why we're not running like a DNA test on the clock since I was the actual murder weapon and then, you know, cross-examine that with Mr. Sawit's DNA and see if there's a match or see if his fingerprints doing some dusting. Actually, yeah, his DNA wouldn't be on the clock. I'm stupid. But check the clock for fingerprints, especially now that different people are handling it, that the lawyer is going to handle it. Did they already dust it for fingerprints? Did they run those fingerprints against Mr. Sawit? Shouldn't that be like a typical process? But all right, who am I to judge? Anywho, ask the court very careful. Whoops, ask the court to listen very carefully. Beep. That certainly is a strange way to announce the time. Well, he is the thinker after all. So, we've heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now? It's 11:25. As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely a discrepancy between what Mr. Sawit heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Solid, try to talk your way out of this one. Ah! You forgot one thing. Uh-oh. What's he talking about now? While it may seem like that clock is running 3 hours slow, it proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. He's right. How am I gonna prove that? Damn it, I was so close. Mr. Wright, it seems you lack the critical evidence to support your claim. Yes, Your Honor. This means I cannot let you indict the witness. Unfortunately, this ends the cross-examination of Mr. Frank Solid. I come all the way down here to testify, and look what happens! You treat me like a criminal! A criminal! Though you lawyers are all slime. Ugh, I almost had him. Sorry, Larry. I fell to you. There's nothing I can do about it now. Not so fast, Mr. Solid. Maya? I mean, Chief. Listen up, Wright. Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think. But Chief, it's over. I can't prove the clock was slow the day of the murder. Nobody can prove that. Well, yes, but that doesn't mean you can't still win. Try thinking out of the box. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow and think through it. Ask yourself, why was the clock 3 hours slow? Figure out the reason, you'll have your proof. Right? Right? Can you think of a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? Okay, the clock is 3 hours slow. Why would it be 3 hours slow? She went out of town, right? The victim apparently arrived home from Paris on the day before the murder. So she took the clock with her. Then she would have changed the time to whatever the time is in Paris. And when she changed the time in Paris, then when she came back, then the time would be out of sync. The only hole in this is why the hell would you take this super heavy statue with you on a trip? Like, that's what, you know, watches are for, or cell phones nowadays. But really, it's the only thing I got. It's the only thing that makes sense. Yes. Wait! Maybe I can prove it. You must have evidence somewhere that can prove it, right? Find it and let them have it. Well, Mr. Wright, you say the clock was already running slow on the day of the murder. Have you found evidence to support this claim? Of course. There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can prove my claim beyond a doubt. Ha! The tough words. Let's see you pull this one off. Let's see this evidence that proves why the clock was running slow. Present. The victim had just returned home from abroad the day before the murder. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris is 9 hours. When it's 4 p.m. here, it's 1 a.m. the next day there. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in her apartment was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Solid? Or should I say, Mr. Did It? Order! Order, I say. Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne, your witness. He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I have to say, I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly, and find the true culprits at the same time. Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, this is only a formality, but this court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts, not guilty. And with that, this court is adjourned. It turns out that Frank Sod was a common burglar. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. That day, when Larry went to her apartment, the victim wasn't home. After he left, Mr. Sod let himself in to do his dirty work. While he was searching her place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Sod grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find. Dun, 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 dun. August 3rd, 2:32 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Woohoo! I still can't believe we won. Right? Good job in there. Congratulations. Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you. Not at all, not at all. You fought your own battles in there. It's been a while since I've seen a trial end on such a satisfying note. I've never seen a chief looking this happy. If she's this glad, imagine how Larry must feel. My life is over. Larry, you're supposed to be happy. What's wrong now? Oh, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon. Good. Wait, no, I mean, bad. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed. But my Cindy Wind is gone, man. Gone forever. Larry, she was not, never mind. Congratulations, Harry. Harry? Yes, you. I can practically see the headlines now. Harry Butts, innocent. Thanks. I really owe you one. I won't forget this ever. Let's celebrate. Dinner, movie, my treat. Oh, no, I couldn't. Hey, I was the one who got you off the hook. Oh, whoops. Oh, hey! Here, take this. It's a present. A present for me? Wait, wasn't this evidence that... Actually, I made this clock for her. I made one for her and one for me. Really? You made this? Well, thank you. I'll keep it as a memento. Yo, Nick. Can you believe it? I was so into that chick. And she was just paying me for a fool. Don't that make you want to cry? Larry. Are you so sure? Squeeze me? I think she thought quite a lot of you in her own way. Nah, you don't gotta sympathize with me, it's okay? Oh, I'm not just sympathizing, really. Isn't that right? Don't you have something to show your friend? Something that proves how she felt about him? Oh, yeah. Right. It's the fact that she took this big old heavy statue with her to Paris. Check this out, Larry. Proof positive you weren't just some chump to her. Huh? What about that clock? This is the clock you made for her, Larry. And she took it with her when she traveled. Whatever. She probably just needed a clock, that's all. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to take traveling. Well, make of it what you will. Hey, Nick. I'm glad I asked you to be my lawyer. Really, I am. Thank you. I hope that made him feel a little better. Right. I hope you see the importance of evidence now. Also, hopefully you realize things change depending on how you look at them. People, too. We never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you have to believe in yourself. Right. Listen, learn, grow strong. Never let go of what you believe in. Well, I think our work here is done. Shall we be off? Yeah, I guess so. Say, how about dinner on me? We'll drink a toast to innocent butts. Yeah! Oh, speaking of Harry, you were saying part of why you became a lawyer was because of him. Yeah, part at least. You'll have to tell me more about it sometime, maybe over drinks. Aw, silkin' now. And so my first trial came to a close, and now I'm on my first date. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends." But I'm pretty sure he's not going to pay us, unless you count the clock he gave Mia. I didn't know it then. That clock was soon going to be at the center of another incident. And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be one promise that I wouldn't be able to keep. Finish.